Ohio State just lost the #1 nationally ranked recruit in the country for what many people would label, and they believe it's multiple different reasons, but I believe it's for one reason, and this one reason only. Ho, 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 Merry Christmas. We're only 6 days away. Hope you guys are staying warm, you're healthy, and all that good stuff. Speaking of staying warm, for all my people in the South, I know my Northerners, you're used to this, but this cold front's coming through on like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and it's going to be something like 10 degrees. I'm from Northern Alabama, by the way, shout out to the 256, but they're even talking about it may snow down here. They're still not sure if it's going to snow regardless of that. The reason I bring it up is because even if it doesn't, if you're from Alabama, I'm talking about the lower parts, Georgia, Tennessee, Mississippi, anywhere in the Southeast, you better brace yourselves. Just try to stay warm out there, and I already know all the people from up north in Michigan, Ohio, y'all are laughing at us, but it doesn't get cold down here like that. Okay, that is besides the point, Matt. This isn't the weather channel, this is a football channel, and speaking of Ohio and up north, we gotta talk about what's going on there. It just seems like it's bad news after bad news after bad news for Ohio State fans. Yeah, it's awesome you're in the playoffs, but you lost your star wide receiver, he's sitting at the bowl game, and your star running back is also sitting it out. And oh yeah, I can't forget to mention and bring up the thing that's been trending the past couple of days. You also lost the #1 overall recruit in the country. Yes, he's a 5-star, but you gotta bring up he's not your ordinary 5-star because he is the best player. Losing a 5-star recruit alone, yeah, it's a big deal, but losing the #1 overall player in the country, a little bigger deal. And let me make this extremely clear. It appears to seem we found out the reason as to why he's leaving Ohio State. Or not leaving, but the reason he decommitted. We're going to talk all about that. It is really interesting and a fascinating situation to say the least because, hint, hint, it looks like he may be going to another Big Ten school. And the reason I say it's fascinating is because the other school that looks like they have a great chance of landing him, they're not even really that good. Also in today's video, we got to talk about how not one, but 2 starters that played for Alabama this season, they're going to the same school. They've transferred away from Alabama, and it seems like they still like each other because they're going to team up somewhere else. Kind of fishy if you got to ask me. Maybe there's something going on at Bama that these players are not too fond of. I don't know. You're going to have to let me know your thoughts down below. It's going to be a jam-packed video. As most of you know, we are on the road to 260,000 subscribers before Christmas, and we are less than 3,000 away. Look, it's simple. If you want to be a part of the best college football community in the world, by the way, shout out to all of you guys. Consider joining if you don't want to. All right, be left down and be a loser. All right, Matt, shout it out. Let's get into it. First thing is first, I got to bring this up because I did not see this coming. I don't even know what to think about it. Alabama's starting wide receiver, JoJo Earl, he was supposed to be really good this year, turned out to be, I'm not going to say he's bad, he was just average. He announced that he's going to TCU. For those of you who don't know, JoJo Earl is really fast. He's more of your, I would say, yeah, I'll give him this comparison. He reminds me a little bit of Jalen Waddle. No, I'm not saying he is as good as Jalen Waddle, but he has the same player build. He's a really quick guy that if he gets in the right offensive system and scheme, he can take the top off of the defense and have a breakout season. It sucks to see him leave Alabama. As most of you know, we've made plenty of videos talking about it. Alabama's lost like 5 4/5-star wide receivers in the past week. I want y'all to think about this. Out of the entire 2021 wide receiver class for Alabama, only one person is left on the team. Yeah, it sucks. Crappy situation. And although I'm not too mad a lot of these guys are leaving because they weren't really too good, I am kind of upset that JoJo Earl decided to leave. TCU, congratulations on landing this guy. I think he's going to have an outstanding season next year. And JoJo Earl, I'm wishing you the best of luck, my man. I really enjoyed watching you play for Alabama. I get as to why you're leaving. It didn't work out. Moving on to our second topic, or really our second player, former, Alabama cornerback Kyrie Jackson. He started for Bama this season. He announced he's going to Oregon. For those of you that don't know, former Alabama wide receiver, 4-star recruit Trayshawn Holden, he announced not too long ago he's also going to Oregon. So like I said in the intro, that is now 2 Alabama starters that are going to be playing for Oregon next season. For Kyrie Jackson, Trayshawn Holden, all these guys that are leaving Alabama, it's a similar situation. They didn't have a terrible season. It's more so of it didn't feel like a great fit, and maybe it works out at a different school. I'm wishing them the best of luck as well, but if you're Oregon, you got to be feeling pretty good about yourself. Because here's the thing, when you get a guy who's already established like Kyrie Jackson, already established like Trayshawn Holden, You don't have to guess and hope they're going to be good. You know they're going to be good. They're going to make an instant impact. That's the beauty of the transfer portal, because you're better off getting a guy out of the portal that's already been in the weight room. He's been playing college football and all that good stuff. Although it sucks for these high school kids coming in that was wanting that starting cornerback spot or starting wide receiver spot, it is what it is. I think any coach would agree with me on this. Give me the 21-year-old who's played a couple of years of college football rather than the 18-year-old who hasn't played any. I did find that interesting, and the reason I even brought that up is to also say this. This, to say it shocked me, would be an understatement. It's being announced that Bo Nix is returning for what, his 7th year of college football? I don't even know how he has eligibility left. We're seeing another Stetson DoorDash Bennett situation, and once again, it goes to prove I am tired of this extra COVID year BS. I said it before, I'm going to say it again. If you played during the COVID year, it should have counted against you. I don't understand why the NCAA just said, yeah, you can play and it doesn't count or hurt whatsoever. I just don't like that, because now we're seeing case and scenarios where you got quarterbacks like Hendon Hooker, Stetson DoorDash Bennett, and now Bo Nix. They're going to be 24 years old playing college football against 18-year-olds. Now, granted, Bo Nix isn't going to be like 25 like Stetson DoorDash Bennett was, but he's still going to be up there. Not only am I shocked by his decision, I also think it's a not so great one, and I'll explain why. Make no mistakes about it, Bo Nix was not going to be selected in the first round, and probably not even the second round, but the way he played this year, his draft stock was at an all-time high. I don't even think he would have been selected in the 4th round, but probably around that 4th to 5th round, yeah, he had a good chance of going off the board. I say that to say this. Look at his numbers this season compared to his last 3 years at Auburn. It's not even comparable. It's not even in the same realm or atmosphere. This was by far his best season when it comes to every single statistic. In 3 years at Auburn, his highest, let me repeat this, his highest completion percentage was 61%. At Oregon in 1 year, this year alone, he dang near, I don't even know what you would say. He destroyed it. He completed more than 10% at Oregon. He jumped up his completion percentage from 61% to 71.5. Also had 3,400 passing yards with 27 touchdowns to only 6 INTs. And me and you both can agree on this. Bo Nix isn't going to play too much better. I mean, look at this. Compared to the rest of the country, he's in the top 20 in all stats for quarterbacks almost, and even his QBR's in the top 5. So it doesn't really make too much sense to come back from an NFL draft standpoint, because I don't think his stock's going to improve from this year to next. However, maybe he's trying to cement his legacy and run it back with Oregon and make it to a college football playoff and potentially win a championship. And now with his new weapon, Trayshawn Holden, and a new defensive player in Kyrie Jackson, maybe Oregon can be better next year. Who knows? Let me know your thoughts on Bo Nix coming back. I'm curious. But finally, moving on to the main topic, the main encore, the main reason you clicked onto this video, we got to talk about this number 1 recruit. It was announced, when was it? Yes, Saturday morning, that 5-star recruit, number 1 quarterback in the country, number 1 player in the country, Dylan Raiola, has decommitted from the Ohio State. The news came out of nowhere, and everybody had the same question. Why did he decommit? Nobody knew what to think. Nobody knew what was going on up until people started putting 2 and 2 together. This is where you need to, no, not even need to. This is where you have to pay attention. Even with Raiola decommitting from Ohio State, there was still a 95.7% chance that they land him. And by the way, this is similar to your crystal ball stuff. These are experts doing these predictions. As you can also see, Nebraska only had 1.1%. We'll talk about them in a second. Texas 1%, Georgia 1%, and Alabama 1%, all under that. Whoa. Hold on. I know what most people are sitting there saying. Yo, Matt, why in the crap is Nebraska, a poverty program, even in the mix of things? Well, my friend, that is an outstanding question. And like I said in the video Saturday, there's one thing you need to know, and this is the major detail. His dad played at Nebraska. You see, that's where things start to come together, and they make a ton of sense. I don't have to explain it. If you're a football player and your dad played it at school, you're always going to have a chance of going there because you want to follow in your dad's footsteps. At least most kids do. Or I'm not saying most kids do because they want to create their own story and legacy, but you get what I'm trying to say. There's always going to be a chance. Look at these numbers. Remember them. Even with him decommitting on Saturday, there was a 95% chance and 1% chance for Nebraska. But, and I have a big but, we have a new update. As you can see on your screen right here, things have already changed and it's been a couple of days. Ohio State's percentage of landing him has dropped to 73.9%, and Nebraska has went from 1% to over 22%. Texas, Georgia, and Alabama, they're still under 1%. Like I said, it's self-explanatory. His dad went there and they got connections. But also the sleeper team in the race to get this number 1 quarterback recruit I think it's TCU. I have two reasons for this. Number one, TCU, they're on the rise. They just had a quarterback who made it to the Heisman ceremony, so that's a popular school to go to. And number two, his sister currently goes there. That makes a lot of sense to me because I've always felt this way. If you're a 4 or 5-star recruit, it's not always the best thing to go to the best school. Why is that? Because you're going to have to compete for that starting quarterback job with 4 other 4/5-star recruits. I'm not saying you should be scared of competition, but at the same time, you got to be realistic with yourself. Do you have a better chance and opportunity of playing at Ohio State or TCU? For example, look at Joe Burrow. He didn't even sniff the field at Ohio State due to some injuries, but he goes to LSU and he wins the Heisman, and the rest is history. As a recruit, it should not be about going to the best school. It should be going to the school that's the best fit for you. Check out this comment from what I assume is an Ohio State fan. The perception of the program nationally right now is not good. Lots of places are trending up. Sadly, we are not. I agree with that because the trend of Ohio State, it is going down. But when I say it's going down, I also don't want that to come off as the wrong way. Ohio State is a really good football team and a really good program. So when you're near the top, it's a little bit easier to fall down a little. And with them having not 1 but 2 back-to-back embarrassing losses against Michigan, that's why it is going down, because they do have this perception that they're soft. And most people believe that. Now, do I think that is the reason that Dylan Raiola has decommitted from them? Not really. However, I'm not going to throw that out the window because that could be a reason. Maybe, this is just a maybe, he saw what Michigan did to him last year and this year, and he's not a fan of it. Maybe he doesn't want to be a part of a soft team, and let's just call it how it is. Ohio State is soft. With all that being said, here is the biggest theory as to why many people believe he decommitted. Let me read you out this tweet. Where's the story coming from that Ohio State broke a promise to Dylan Raiola that they were not taking a 23 quarterback, which is class of 2023, when they previously already had one committed? I keep seeing people say he was blindsided. How do they know that? For those of you that don't know what this tweet's talking about or referring to, I'll try to dumb this down. Basically, Dylan Raiola, the #1 quarterback recruit, apparently he told, and I say apparently, he told these Ohio State recruiters and Ohio State, Ryan Day, whoever you want to blame, that, hey, if you go after another quarterback recruit in the class of 2023, 2024, whatever, I'm decommitting. Another way to say it is he's trying to tell Ohio State, if you go after another quarterback, that means I'm not your guy and I don't want to compete against somebody else and I'm leaving. Let me make this clear. Those are rumors. Take that with a grain of salt. I personally don't know how to feel about it because I don't know this Dylan Raiola kid. I don't know if maybe he is the type of guy to get upset if Ohio State gets another recruit. I don't know. Maybe he is. Let me know your thoughts on that. Ohio State just lost the #1 nationally ranked recruit in the country for what many people would label, and they believe it's multiple different reasons, but I believe it's for one reason and this one reason only. You got to hear me out on this. His dad played at Nebraska. That's #1. And 2, Nebraska just got a pretty good offensive-minded head coach in Matt Rhule. Oh yeah, by the way, got to throw this in there. Matt Rhule also used to be a quarterback coach. Yeah, I think you know exactly where I'm going with this. Put 2 and 2 together. That's the reason he decommitted from Ohio State. That's the reason he reopened up his commitment, because he's definitely going to consider Nebraska now. Of course, with the crap show that was going on with Scott Frost, Mickey Joseph, and all the previous mess and whatnot, he wasn't even going to consider them. But now, they're in the race. And I would say they got a good shot of landing him, because you also got to think about this. Like I said earlier, you go to Nebraska, you're going to be the guy. There's not even going to be a competition. However, you go to Ohio State, they got 4 and 5-star quarterbacks left and right. You're going to have to compete. Just play your butt off to win the job. And even if you win the job, if you're not playing an A- game every single week, you may get binged. This has more to Rhule with. He has ties to Nebraska, and Nebraska hired Matt Rhule than anything else. And I know I joke about Nebraska being a poverty program, which they currently are, but if they get this kid, things could change dramatically, kind of similar to Colorado and Deion Sanders. I'll definitely keep you guys updated. Let me know your thoughts down below about that. Roll with me!